welcome to my video. Today I wanted to talk about all of my skincare favorites and I want to do some body care favorites as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through my skincare routine and what I normally use. So the first thing that I always use to take off my makeup at night is the Garnier Skin Active Micellar Water. I've been using that one for like a couple years now, and it's just so much nicer than like a makeup removing wipe or anything like that, because those always sting my skin. My skin is super fucking sensitive, and it's also really dry. I do have more combination skin though, because I do go oily in my T-zone sometimes, but like the skin around my like jaw, my forehead is super dry, and sometimes in like the middle of winter, like my nose will get super dry and like flaky. But in the summer is when I notice like more oil buildup. And then after I remove my makeup with that, I'll go in with 2 pads all over my face to remove everything. And then I'll go in with First Aid Beauty's Pure Skin Cleanser. Literally all of my skincare is from First Aid Beauty. And I just noticed that since my skin is pretty sensitive, all of their stuff is so hydrating and never has irritated my skin. And it's the same with that cleanser. As you can tell, hopefully that's like focusing, but as you can tell, it's like super creamy and hydrating. And so after I use it, it never leaves my skin feeling stripped or anything like that, but it does cleanse my skin really well. And then after that, I'll go in with my actual skincare routine that stays on. So the first thing I use is the Ultra Repair Hydrating Serum from First Aid Beauty. So for that, I just use like a little bit more than a pea-sized amount. And then I'll rub it into my fingertips and smooth it onto my skin. I really want to try the Good Molecules Hyaluronic Acid Serum. I've heard that it's super good and it's really affordable. Next thing I use is First Aid Beauty's Ultra Repair Cream. And then I take a pretty good amount of that and then I just put that on my face. I also do it under my eyes, and then I'll also take it down my neck. I know that they have one that's meant for your face, but I've never had a problem with using the bigger tube on my face. It's never made me break out or been like too hydrating. I actually don't know what the main difference between those two is. But if you wanted like the bigger one just because it's better value, I'm assuming, it works just fine on my face. And I've seen a ton of other people use it because I know this is a really popular cream. I also use this cream throughout the summer. It's not too heavy in the summer either. Okay, and then for my eye cream, I switch between 2 different eye creams, and the first one is the Garnier Skin Active Ultra Lift Anti-Wrinkle Firming Eye Cream. That is a fucking mouthful. And the other one is the First Aid Beauty 5-in-1 Eye Cream. I actually like both of these almost just the same. Today I'm going to use the Garnier one. The reason that I really like this one is I feel like I notice it helps with depuffing a little bit more than the First Aid Beauty one, but I would argue that that one is maybe a little bit more hydrating long term, but I feel like this one has like an immediate effect. Like if I wake up and I have really puffy eyes from allergies, or if I like cried or some weird shit like that, I will always go for the Garnier one. My concealer also applies over this one really nicely just because it does help with depuffing, and I think it really smooths out the wrinkles underneath my eyes and those fine lines. So I typically wear this one under my makeup, and I'll do the 5-in-1 from First Aid Beauty at nighttime, but either one is great. The next thing I use over that is my First Aid Beauty Oat and Hemp Seed Oil. This one is this packaging. I've like ruined this fucking packaging. I dropped the bottle with the dropper outside of it and shattered that, and so it only has a lid right now, and then I've like completely rubbed off all of the letters on the outside of this, but it'll just have to be okay. And so what I do with this one, since my packaging is all fucked up, is I just tip it with my hand all flat and I'll tip it onto my hands. And so before I broke my dropper, I was using like 5 drops of this, maybe a little bit more depending on how dry my skin felt. But I will just go in with this all over my skin. I love this oil. It feels almost like kind of like a drier oil. I do really notice that it will dry down on me and it doesn't interfere with my makeup, and I don't think it makes me like oilier in my T-zone throughout the day, which can be a problem. And of course, when you do use an oil, I notice that sometimes oils can make the rest of my makeup pill up. But I don't ever really have a problem with this one pilling up the rest of my makeup, and I'm assuming that has something with it something to do with it drying down really nicely, but obviously I actually don't know a whole lot about skincare, but this oil really works for me. For my lips, I'll either use my Ultra Repair Lip Therapy or my Glossier balm.com. Out of these two, I 100% prefer my Glossier balm.com. I will say this is the old formula of the balm.com, and so I'm not totally sure what the new one is like. I am about due to order a new one though. I'm getting pretty close to the end. I'll just take like a little baby dot of that and it spreads out over your lips super evenly. Some people were so mad about the new packaging. I was like, chill the fuck out. My only gripe with the Ultra Repair Lip Therapy is sometimes near like the end of a tube, it can get a little bit like textured in there and like almost feel like it has beads in it. But I hadn't really had that problem with any other lip product before. But I do really like the way it hydrates my lips. That's my only kind of like ick about it. If that's like gonna focus, you can kind of tell like there's like a little bead up through here, and I'm just not sure what that would be. For my SPF, I use Supergoop's Unseen Sunscreen. This one is SPF 40. I kind of wish it was a little bit more, and I'm not in love with this sunscreen by any means. Before this, I was using, I think, a Neutrogena one, but my problem with that one was that like the finish of it was beautiful. My makeup applied over it like wonderfully, but since my skin is really sensitive, it would like burn underneath my eyes. And so when I switched to this one, I don't have a problem with the burning, which I do love, but I don't love the actual texture of this one. It's supposed to also act as like a primer for like a velvety soft finish is what it's like marketed as. And I don't like the texture of it. What I currently do is I mix it together with L'Oreal's Lumi Glotion, and that really does help with the texture and it doesn't make it as matte. So I don't know if I'll end up repurchasing this one. I wanted to buy the glow screen version of it, but my only problem with that is that the actual shades of those ones feel a little bit too golden for my liking. Because if you don't know, the L'Oreal Glotion, the lightest shade is like a pale kind of like cooler like pink version of it rather than like a pale gold. I'm still gonna try it out anyways, just because I think like people rave about that one, so it must be really, really nice. But this one does work for now with the products that I do mix it with. So yeah, I don't mind it. Another product that I will be grabbing soon is the Glossier Future Dew, because I also think the texture of that mixed together with this would make it work for me even a little bit better than the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. But it's working for me now. My runner-up face cream is the Glossier Priming Moisturizer in Rich. I am obsessed with the way it smells. I love the way it makes my skin feel. I just haven't repurchased it in a while, but this is a wonderful product. The packaging is beautiful. The scent is amazing. My only problem with this is that they keep reformulating everything that they have, and so I know that they just reformulated this recently, and I was reading a lot of the reviews on it, and a lot of people say that it's not the same and that they also took the lavender scent away, which this was one of the only scented products that I've ever used as an actual skincare item that didn't irritate my skin. And so I'm kind of gonna miss the scent because it feels really nostalgic for me. But I will be repurchasing this and trying out the new formula just because I have loved this product so much. But I would recommend this a million times over, especially the old formula. I can't really speak for the new one. I also had to mention this Lancome cream. My grandma bought this for my mom, and my mom let me have it because it's like super expensive and really nice. But it is their absolute cream rich, their rich cream, which it's fucking rich for sure. But I will use this on nights where my skin is just feeling like a little, you know, off, like when you just have an off skin day and nothing feels quite right. Like I'll probably use it tonight. And my skin feels like transformed in the morning. I rarely use it because it is so expensive, and I will never ever repurchase it just because I don't really think that it's worth it. But as a gift, I do really love it, and it is a really fun item to have in my skincare. The reason that this one feels so cool though is because it is so thick. So when I do put it on my skin, it just feels like it completely melts in. It's like a very balm-like texture, which I love. And for another skincare item that I don't use every single night, but if my skin is feeling like incredibly dry, I actually will go in with Aquaphor's healing ointment, and I'll show you how much I normally like to take. But I will literally take like a baby, like pea-sized amount, and I will spread that all over my skin to really lock in my skincare. Whenever my skin is super dry, like middle of winter, I'll actually do this every single night, and it does not clog my pores or anything like that. And I just started doing this when it was like the slugging trend, and I used to do it when I was like way younger. But I do love this, and I will continue to do that. And so this, I know it's like so fucking basic, but like this is wonderful to lock in everything. Moving on to all over body care, I have 3 separate items that I really love for just my all over body. The first one is Cetaphil's Basic Moisturizing Lotion. I will always use this all over my body, especially when my skin is feeling really irritated or just like out of whack. That one is, I just know that it's going to work. It's not going to irritate my skin. It's going to hydrate it. It's also not going to be so thick that my skin feels like uncomfortable to like wear clothes over it or like go to sleep in. Because I also am weird about like textures and stuff like that. But that one is wonderful. Obviously, it's not scented or anything, so it's just great. It's just a nice like baseline moisturizer for the rest of my skin. My actual favorite one though is First Aid Beauty's Ultra Repair Cream, especially in the scent vanilla. I actually don't mind any of their scented products. I know they have like a honeysuckle and I believe another one, and I can't remember what the scent profile of that is, but the vanilla one is not like overpowering. Like today, that's the one that I used all over my body. And it just doesn't, it like melt in so nicely. It's like super buttery, and the scent won't bother me later if you are sensitive to those kinds of things. So I love that one. It's so good. I also love the original scented one though, so you can't really go wrong with either. I also get from the shampoo bowls at work, everyone at my salon has like a patch of eczema right here from leaning on the shampoo bowl, and that one is so good to put over it, especially if I do like a layer of the Ultra Repair Cream and then I put on a layer of Aquaphor over it. It helps it so much and makes it less uncomfortable on my arm. And then my third favorite body care product is the Palmer's Skin Therapy Oil. I was really hesitant about this product when I first tried it. My mom actually gave it to me, but what I really like about it is an oil that really dries down. And so if I like wake up in the morning, my skin's feeling really dry, I will put pumps of this all over my body, and it just seeps into your skin and it doesn't have that oily feel throughout the day. The scent is kind of strong when you first put it on, but it does dissipate throughout the day and the scent won't like follow you or anything if that's something that you are concerned about. But I literally can't recommend it enough. I feel like it's really changed the way that my skin feels, especially in that like eczema patch that I have on my arm as well. But I love that stuff. I will probably continue to repurchase it. And then for deodorant, I don't know if I should include this, but I feel like deodorant, I had a really hard time finding one that really worked for me. I don't like any deodorant that's geared towards like women or anything. They're just not strong enough for me. I guess I'm really self-conscious about that stuff though, because I do work in a salon, and so like I have my arms up, like my armpit is like in people's faces, which is nasty, but nonetheless, I have been using the Old Spice Oasis with vanilla notes. It's not like a super masculine scent if that's something that concerns you. It's super long lasting, and I noticed that I actually like it doesn't irritate my armpits or anything like that, which I've had problems with in the past before, like literal rashes underneath my arm, especially when I am using like a men's deodorant. But this one is fantastic. It's an antiperspirant and a deodorant, so it's not just the deodorant. It's not aluminum free, but they do have an aluminum free version. I just don't think that shit fucking works for me. And then the 2 scents that I've been using currently are Chance by Chanel, which I believe the base of that one is a pink pepper. My boyfriend got it for me for my birthday, so it just has like a special place in my heart. But I do actually really enjoy it. It's not too overpowering. It does last on the skin for a really long time. And I usually wear that when I want to feel like more elegant and pretty. And it's an all year scent for me, where I don't feel in any season wearing it is like weird, which my next one that I've been using, I kind of sometimes don't want to wear it in like the winter just because of the type of scent it is, but it is Skylar Clean Beauty's Coconut Cove. And I know people like coconut's controversial for some fucking reason. I love coconut. This is the best smelling coconut perfume that I have tried. I've tested out a ton at Sephora, and they always have like a weird undernote to them. The notes on this one are bergamot, which I probably am not saying that right, coconut, and ambrox, so a bunch of shit that I don't really know how to say. But it is so good. I think there's like a lime note in it as well, but it's super balanced. It's beautiful. It lasts on the skin really well. The only thing about that is the first time I sprayed it, I did like 2 or 3 because I couldn't smell it at first, and then it like shot me with the scent. So I would apply that like slowly because the scent does kind of sneak up on you. I've also checked out a couple of their other scents, like the vanilla one, and I'll probably purchase that one when I get lower on one of these two. Okay, and that comes to the end of my video. Those are all of the current skincare things that I'm using. Thanks for watching.